Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the Agoura Hills City Council meeting. Please silence all cell phones and other electronic devices. If you wish to speak or submit a written comment, please complete a comment card for each item and submit to the City Clerk prior to the public comment portion of the item. I'm now going to call this meeting to order. And before I start, I would just like to say our thoughts are with everybody in the Palisades and all our neighbors and fellow communities within LA County who are experiencing extreme fire dangers right now, and those who have lost their homes. Our thoughts are with you, and we support you in any way we can. Thank you. I would now move on to our land acknowledgement. The City of Agoura Hills acknowledges that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Chumash Nation. Descendants of Chumash still remain, and we honor and pay our respects to their elders and various groups that make up the past, present, and emerging as they continue their stewardship of our lands and waters. We have a responsibility and commitment to elevate the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of the City of Agoura Hills, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these ancestral lands. I am now going to defer to our City Clerk and ask her to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Would you please stand? Place your hand over your heart and start the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will now defer to our City Clerk for the roll call.
Good evening. Councilmember Anderson?
Present.
Councilmember Anstead?
Present.
Councilmember Klein-Lopez?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wolf?
Present.
Mayor Sylvester?
Present.
Mayor Sylvester, you have a quorum.
Thank you. There was no closed session held this evening, so there is no report. And now I would like to propose we move the library quarterly update and discussion item number 8 to the January 22nd, 2025 regular City Council meeting. Will the maker of the motion and second to approve the agenda as amended state your names?
This is Deborah Klein-Lopez. I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
City Councilman Chris Anstead seconds.
Thank you. I'll defer to our City Clerk.
Councilmember Anderson?
Aye.
Councilmember Anstead?
Aye.
Councilmember Klein-Lopez?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wolf?
Aye.
Mayor Sylvester?
Aye.
Mayor Sylvester, you have approval 5-0.
Thank you. We are having no presentations tonight, and we are going to move on to Intergovernmental Special Purpose Committee and departmental reports. We are not going to have the library report. That will be deferred to January 22nd. And Councilmember Klein-Lopez defers her Clean Power Alliance report as well. Are there any reports from staff? Seeing none, thank you. Any reports from council? Seeing none, we are going to move on to the public comment section. This section is reserved for persons wishing to speak on items not listed on the agenda that are under the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. If you have something to distribute to the City Council, please do not approach the dais. Hand your item to the City Clerk and she will distribute it to us on your behalf. Public testimony is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and a speaker's time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons addressing the City Council shall not engage in disorderly conduct that disrupts or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting. I will now defer to the City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor Sylvester. No written public comments have been received and no speaker cards have been submitted.
Thank you. Right, moving on. We're now moving on to the consent calendar. This section is reserved for persons wishing to speak on items on the consent calendar. I will now defer to the City Clerk.
Thank you. We have not received any written public comments or speaker cards.
Thank you. Are there any questions from City Council on the consent calendar? Seeing none, we move on. Will somebody please make the motion and a second state your names to adopt the consent calendar?
This is Mayor Pro Tem Wolf, and I'll make a motion to adopt the consent calendar.
Councilmember Anderson seconds.
Thank you. I'll defer to our city clerk for the roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Councilmember Anstead.
Aye.
Councilmember Klein Lopez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wolf.
Aye.
Mayor Sylvester.
Aye.
Mayor Sylvester, you have approval, 5-0.
Thank you. Next up would have been our discussion action item regarding the Community Wildlife Risk Assessment and the consideration of approval of the CWRA Community Service Survey questions. And I would like to defer this to a future date when we can have the public here and we can have a real discussion. This isn't the time for this. So can I have a motion and a second to approve deferral?
Councilmember Anderson moves to approve deferral.
I'll second. Deborah Klein Lopez.
Thank you. I'll defer to the city clerk for the roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Aye.
Councilmember Anstead.
Aye.
Councilmember Klein Lopez.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wolf.
Aye.
Mayor Sylvester.
Aye.
Mayor Sylvester, you have approval, 5-0.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from staff? No? Any comments from City Council?
I just want to thank the mayor and the staff for the communications that have been going out to the community during this difficult time. I've gotten a lot of questions about knowing your zone, and just want to remind the public that all of that information is on our website. It's the most important lesson I think we can learn from this incident, which is not over. So I just want to thank everyone for their extra time and extra efforts in keeping our community safe during this time.
And I want to echo that gratitude to the city staff, to all of our first responders, and just say how much I appreciate the resiliency and community support that we have here in Agoura Hills. So I'm an early morning person and an early morning dog walker. And for those of you up around 6:30, 7:30 this morning, and Ramiro, I know you were, the winds were crazy. Like, these were winds that were blowing down trees. And I'm walking down my cul-de-sac, and you literally can see trash cans falling over and like rolling down the street. But what was amazing were the neighbors that were coming out, picking up each other's trash cans, putting them back, picking up the trash on the street. And it just really warmed my heart and made me so grateful to be a member of the Agoura Hills community.
Thank you. I actually just wanted to first say congratulations and also thank Merrill Platzer for being the next planning commissioner that I appointed this year, actually replacing a great planning commissioner, Kate Anderson. And also want to congratulate Kate Anderson also for being on the city council. And it is a little awkward actually for me because of the name Anstead. I'm used to normally being the first one called the last 8 years, and now it's Anderson, then Anstead. And so I'm going to have to get used to that. That's going to take a little bit of time. And but it's great to have you on the council, Kate, and I look forward also to having Merrill being on the planning commission. And so I wanted to make sure I stayed that. And then obviously, I wanted to make a couple comments with just to have everybody be safe and be patient with both our city staff and the public, the firefighters, the police out there, and to please just be safe and listen to your government officials when they're trying to help you in this crisis. And I think that's and I also want to obviously also say that our prayers and thoughts are with the people that have lost their homes in all these fires. And there's still an awful lot of fires out there going on, and wish everybody to please be safe. Thank you.
Echoing what fellow council members said, great work to the staff on the communication. I also want to give a shout out on getting the charging station open. I think that's really, really important that we did that. It's going to be a tough few days with the power continuing to be off for most of the city. So if we can find a way to educate and communicate that to our residents, I think that's going to be really important. And we kind of dodged a bullet. The major wind event is over, but this could have easily been Agoura Hills. This could have been the Conejo Valley. It could have been Simi Valley. And this is going to happen again. So, you know, it just shows what this council needs to do. We need to be prepared, and how important it is to be as ready as we can. What we're seeing in Palisades is unfathomable. It's going to be the most expensive wildfire in American history. And it could have happened here. So we're lucky, but we need to continue to prepare. And thank you to the team for being out there, putting out signs, and making sure that everyone was safe. And the staff going out, I know that they were putting up stop signs and moving tree branches, and that's what really keeps the city moving in times of crisis. So great work on that. Thank you to
Thank
my
you.
fellow councils.
Actually, something just was brought up about the garbage cans. I have garbage pickup scheduled for in my neighborhood tomorrow morning. I've heard nothing from Waste Management. Is it safe to put them out?
Yes, especially, to answer the question of the pickups, there has not been any change in the scheduled pickups through Waste Management. They've tried to continue that service. The worst of the winds, at least as we've been reported to us, occurred last night, so you're probably a lot safer this evening putting them out for tomorrow than you are even yesterday.
So to still continue. Thank you very much. And I would also like to thank all our staff. I mean, you have been amazing today, and I know you will continue to be so in the next few days. It has been extremely stressful for everybody, and you've all kept up a great disposition and positive energy, and we appreciate that. So thank you. So with that, unless there's any further comments, I am going to adjourn the meeting. The next regular City Council meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. on Wednesday, January the 22nd, 2025, in the Council Chambers of the Civic Center, located at 30001 Ladyface Court, Agoura Hills, California. This meeting is now adjourned, and please, everybody, stay safe.